And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that brutal OST because we have returned with our next series. We were patiently waiting for like 10 minutes for Showtime and Cyan, and we could not find them. Looks like they're still in game, and the lower semis has already begun. So we already missed out on one series, didn't want to miss out on another. Hopefully we're able to catch the upper semifinals once it's ready. For now, though, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Alkiona, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the blue Protoss representing CranKy Gaming. It is herO. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Terran from South Korea, representing his new team, Cloud9. It is GuMiho. Let's go. But, oh no! herO, as he does come across the proxy with his scouting probe, the Rax has been found, and herO is going to be shutting it down. I was about to say, so, fun fact, by the time we wrapped up our last series, and as we do force a cancel, we do shut down the proxy, canceling the Gas Geyser as well, forcing a reaction out of GuMiho. A beautiful start for herO. GuMiho stumbling out the gates, as he's going to try and delay the expansion for as long as he can. With this SCV, is going to be forced back, and the expansion is going to be thrown down. Now, what I was saying is, by the time we wrapped up with herO versus Firefly, Nightmare versus Nightmare versus GuMiho, game 1 was about to start. So, Nightmare versus GuMiho, it was 2-0 in favor of GuMiho. Game 1 and Game 2 was played out while we were waiting for Showtime and Cyan to get out of their game, and Showtime and Cyan nowhere to be found. I think they're still in their game, and I was feeling quite anxious about waiting even further when I saw that GuMiho and herO was about to start. So very quickly we're jumping into the lower semifinals, and again, I do hope that that we can catch, you know, the upper semis, Dark versus either Showtime or Cyan later on down the line, and hopefully we can catch them after this series. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. As Showtime and Cyan seem to be in a locked in a late game PvP as we speak. For now, SV is going to be moving out here. We're going into a 3-Rax follow-up. Oh, let's go. It's going to be a CC on low ground, Rax expand into a 3-Rax. So GuMiho is just transitioning into something pretty economic. Very reliant on a lower gas count here, just trying to get back into this as best he can. It was a rough start from GuMiho, but we'll see if he can recover. As we do have our opener from herO is going for a Stargate opener. Reaper was spotted by the Zelnaga. herO is getting in position, and he is here just in time to zone away that Reaper. I'm loving the movement as well from herO. Getting in position, chasing that Reaper away, and he is not going Oracle, he's going for a Phoenix first. Important to take note of, it is going to be a Phoenix-based opener and Phoenix-based build here from herO. This should be leading into either a Robo for Colossus or a Twilight Council for Charge Lots. Based on the fact that we're loading into Alkiona, this is a very macro-oriented map. herO, has he seen the 3-Rax? He has not. If he does come across this, then something like a Colossus-based opener is going to be ideal. And there it is, Robo is on the way, soon to be the Robotics Bay. Oh, Phoenix comes in, does lock down the Reaper as well. We're getting in position. Can we focus down? Oh, we get one hit. Oh, we get one shot off, but no, the Reaper does barely escape. I spoke too soon. Reaper gets shut down at the natural. Good positioning there from herO. And with that, GuMiho is in the dark. Now, he's aware of the Stargate. He's aware of the Phoenixes at least, which is a good thing for GuMiho. Definitely a good thing here. 3-Raxes, they're ideal against Stargate-based openers. This isn't going to be impossible for herO to hold, but it's going to be a little bit difficult. Again, Phoenixes don't really add too much value here, as we do confirm both Raxes. We do confirm the bio production. Again, Phoenixes, they're really good at picking up high-tech units. I'm talking about Medivacs, Ravens, tanks, Cyclones. But against Mass Marine Marauder, where there is no high-value target other than maybe the Marauder, again, Phoenixes are not ideal. There's the Bay on the way. We should be getting a defensive and a safety Immortal. We have an Observer first, but I imagine Immortal next. Adepts have arrived. They're focusing down some of these Marines, and they shade into the main base. Economic damage is being done. Very nicely done here by herO. He does confirm the 3rd Rax. He's fully aware of what's going on. And just a really good way to abuse this army before Stim is done. Stim is still a couple of seconds away as we pick off even more Marines. Stim has completed. The Phoenixes have to be very careful with how they move. Will escape, taking a bit of hull damage here. Meanwhile, there's that Immortal in production. Gateways are finishing up. We have a safety shield battery here on the low ground with an overcharge available as well. We are ready. We are prepared. From here, herO is going to be dipping into the main base. Again, just keeping this army pinned back at home as well. We're already working on our transition. So typically you want to hit a timing with Stim and combat shields, but because we've been so delayed here, we already have our factory and starport follow-up. We already have +1 attack on the way. Third TC on location is delayed as well. And a big scout from herO. He's aware that GuMiho, not really feeling too confident about his push, is stuck at home. Stuck at home and focusing on that more economic transition. But herO is all over this. herO is just once again threading these bases, forcing GuMiho to stay pinned back at home, while herO is free to take his own third. He's building up his Colossus count. He already has 1, soon to be 2 Colossi. We should be working up towards 3 Colossi production into charge lots as well. herO just running away with this, and a big reason for this is because of the opener, is because GuMiho was delayed and forced to react, and yeah, just has had a really hard time getting into this. Also, really kind of really wise movement out of herO to be able to be active with these Phoenixes, to be able to just keep GuMiho pinned back again. This army, or these Phoenixes, aren't ideal when it comes to picking up Marines, but SCVs, you know, delaying some of the production, really good stuff. As herO is going to be pushing a very adventurous move here from herO, has to be very careful with his movement. Colossi have been revealed. Tank not quite in position. We get a couple of swipes off here with the Marines, forcing out a Stim. Tank does siege, and herO has to be very careful with how he does engage. Doesn't want to get caught out. Phoenixes, they catch some of these SCVs. We get 3 of them, and herO backs off. He backed off for a moment, but he wants to come back in. Again, hoping that he's able to distract GuMiho. Chipping away at that depot. We get the scan as well. Now, with these sentries, we can force field the ramp, so we're relatively safe. Oh, Observer gets picked off. Yeah, and now herO backs off. After losing the Observer, he's not really aware if we're going to see a dive or not, if GuMiho is going to be looking to just engage and collapse on the army. So here has to be very careful. But again, that's 13 SCVs in total. That's only due to the Phoenix harass, by the way. We catch the Viking as well, and herO is just picking away at this army. Behind this, herO is working on a 4th. There's +1, and I assumed it was going to be charge, but it's going to be Blink on the way instead. Blink is in production to help support this army. Disruptor production has commenced now that we have 3 Colossi. Once we get our 4th up and running, we can afford a 2nd rover for double disruptor production. But that's a lot of Marauders. Again, the force field is going to be key here when it comes to engaging, and herO, he wants to engage. Again, there's only 1 tank behind this. We can lift it. So far, a couple of Marauders get picked off. That's going to be a big concave here for GuMiho, getting ready for a surround even. herO has to be very, very wary here. Treading lightly. GuMiho is waiting for the opportune moment. Waiting for the moment to just collapse on this. Disruptor is on the way. That will help. herO, he's going to retreat for now, thankfully. I was thinking he was maybe overstaying his welcome, but I'm loving this repositioning from herO. Does pull back. Never going to be going up. Not quite connecting. There's that Ghost Academy on the way for GuMiho. He's still just being contained to these 3 bases. Phoenix is once again getting into the main base. No turret, by the way. The Ghost Academy. We can delay it. Oh, we just go for the workers. Regardless, damage is being done. We got 5 SCVs in the main as well. Oh, did I say 5? I meant to say 11. At the same time, herO, he's reinforcing. GuMiho is moving out at the same time. He is vulnerable right now. Oh, the Disruptor. Disruptor is going to get picked off. A good pick off here from GuMiho. Meanwhile, the Phoenix is still wreaking havoc in the main base. herO, though, not recognizing that the Bio Army is significantly smaller than what it should be. And GuMiho comes in for a massive counterattack. herO caught out of position, forced to recall back home. One Disruptor goes down. That's going to be actually the second Disruptor. We're getting into the mineral line. A lot of probes are falling as well, but this is going to be a one-way trip. We cannot escape. The Phoenixes have arrived. Going to try and drop into the main base. Phoenixes are hot on its tail, though. At the same time, GuMiho pushing through the center, catching a couple of Stalkers. But GuMiho gets cleaned up. That was a lot of supply for 17 probes. And a Disruptor. But GuMiho, he was maxed. He was at 200 supply. Now he plummets 50 supply, and herO is going for a big counterattack. And what is scary is that herO, he's kept his Colossi alive. He still has 2 Disruptors, all of his Phoenixes. herO can focus on his push. How good the EP is going to be? Oh, pretty good. On the Phoenixes. They cannot lift. Some of them can, though. You go, 2 tanks get picked up. Nova going to be zoning away the army. So far, a good concave, though. A good concave from GuMiho. These Colossi are so low. But they're just barely out of range. Force a cancel on the CC. herO taking the goal base behind this. We stim on forward. Good target firing on the Disruptor. Ooh, and herO, he's running out of units. He's running out of steam. There we go. Another big warp in. I'm still a little bit concerned. 1 robo. There's only 1 robo producing here for herO. 1 Disruptor at a time, but he's getting some of the tanks. Never goes off. Will connect. Shuts down some of those Marauders. But it looks like herO is being cleaned up. A big overextension here. Did take down some of the tanks, but lost 2 Colossi. The Disruptors, it looks like... Oh my god, herO is barely holding on. But he has to retreat. herO, he has to back off. Again, I'm really concerned with the only 1 robo producing. It does mean that for every Colossus and every Disruptor that herO loses, he's having a really hard time recovering from that. His economy is good, don't get me wrong, but pretty reliant on a gateway-based army at the moment. Meanwhile, something more important here is that herO doesn't just have a good economy, but he's denying GuMiho from getting an economy himself. Still no 4th. GuMiho is still contained to 3 bases, barely fully saturated on 3 bases as well. GuMiho, he just scans the 4th base. Meanwhile, the charge will dive in again. Nova's going off, connecting with Marauders. Big shots. The final Colossus goes down, but the Zealots are getting into the mineral line. And here come the reinforcements as well. It looks like herO may just barely have enough. He's breaking through. GG gets called. And herO will take game number 1. GG. GG, well played. herO just having so much momentum here in this series. So much momentum in that game after shutting down the proxy. If you did tune in the middle of that game, at the very beginning, GuMiho went for a proxy Rax, and herO found it immediately. He shut it down. He was able to force a cancel, was able to force a pretty rough reaction out of GuMiho as he tried to transition back at home, and herO, he was in control. Was in full control of that game. We had the follow-up 3 Rax from GuMiho, which was never able to push out. Was stuck at home the entire time. Really solid stuff there out of herO. He does take a lead in the series, but it's still a best of 3, still plenty to come. Meanwhile, I just have confirmation. Dark is still waiting for the winner of Cyan versus Showtime. Cyan versus Showtime is still mid-series. God, those are some long games. that's a series, mate. Oh my god. As we're getting ready for our next one. One moment. So we're diving on in to game number 2. Okay, sorry, we're back. Just had to check on something. But spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the Blue Protoss player from the land of South Korea representing Dragon KZ Gaming. It is herO. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran representing Cloud9, his new team. It is GuMiho. Once again committing to a proxy. Now, I'm curious, based on the positioning here, this could be a proxy marauder. We could try to float into the main base and throw down and start up that tech lab in the main of herO. This is quite a common proxy location here on Oceanborn. I'm curious if we're going to commit. I'm curious, or it could just be Reaper. It could just be proxy Reaper to get into the main base and to wreak some havoc here and to transition back at home. We'll see. We'll see how spicy we're going to be, and yeah, it's going to be just the Reaper here from GuMiho. But yeah, again, do apologize for the delayed start. Ooh, just did have to check on something first. We're getting into this. But we're back. We're back, and now we can focus on our game. We can focus on our semifinals. Again, the winner of the series advances on to the grand finals. And as I mentioned before, Dark is still waiting for his own opponent as well, which means we could end up covering both semis. Could cover both, depending on how things progress. But now, Reaper is dipping in. Ooh, straight into the main base as well. Boys are being pulled. How good is the control from herO? He does have to pull away. Does have to try to keep these probes alive. Let us go. As we get one, we get two. Oh my god, we get two probes already. Good pickups here from GuMiho. Very nicely done. Oh. As the Reaper is going to be shut down. Our tech of choice still yet to be invested into here from herO, so pretty good damage so far. Second Reaper is coming out. Behind this, GuMiho going for a factory follow-up into the CC on the low ground. Not going to be a one-base all-in, thankfully. Not going to be the one-base all-in. But again, GuMiho is just transitioning. Ooh, that Reaper is getting caught out, though. We have to be very careful with our control. Have to get the hell out of here. And we have our tech of choice. It is going to be a Twilight Council. Twilight Council follow-up here from herO. Should be for Blink. I imagine there are some DT-based openers in this matchup as well, but should just be for a Twilight Council. Should just be for Blink. As behind this, we have Cyclones on the way. Second racks as well. The first one is floating back home. Is getting there slowly but surely. As the has arrived, so far the Reaper is going to be able to turn it back. And we're following this up with another racks, actually. So a very aggressive follow-up from GuMiho. Essentially, it's going to be a 3 racks, 1 factory opener here from GuMiho on 2 bases. A very delayed starport is what I'm trying to point out. A delayed starport here. We could delay it even further. This could lead into, we spoke about this before in the quarterfinals match. This could lead into a 2-base all-in, or it could just lead into a delayed third. Regardless, a very aggressive build here from GuMiho. Building up a hefty army, continuing with Cyclone production as well. And we'll see if he can get damage done. We'll see if he can gain some momentum. So far, engaging with the Stalkers. Nice reaction out of herO, keeping that Adept alive. And it is going to force GuMiho back. But we are now up to 4 Cyclones. Ooh, the jig is up. We have revealed ourselves. First Adept goes down. We're going for the Stalkers. But alas, we barely don't catch them. GuMiho, I'm sure he was hoping that the Stalkers would be lured out into the open and we could take advantage of them. Meanwhile, the Rax floats back in. Okay. We get eyes on the Twilight Council, we get eyes on Blink. And as a result, making a 4th Rax back at home. So a bit of an awkward setup here from GuMiho, delaying Marine production just because we have to make a 4th Rax. And there's that starport on the way. Was delayed, but now in production for eventually medevac support. To go for some drop harass as well. So GuMiho is just building up his army. Working on the next step. Rax does burn down. And we'll see how committed GuMiho wants to be. Upon seeing the starport this early, I imagine we still want to expand and take a 3rd. I imagine. Yeah, tanks getting in position. Observer is confirming the positioning of the army as well. Ooh, meanwhile, I spoke about a Dark Shrine earlier, about how it's very uncommon nowadays to see it as an opener. And this isn't a Dark Shrine opener, but it's a Dark Shrine follow-up here. There is potential with it, with these DTs. There is potential. Meanwhile, we have high ground vision, and herO, he's dipping into the main, out positioning the army of GuMiho. And GuMiho, he doesn't flinch, he keeps pushing. Does not turn around, which means SCVs are falling, and we can always recall back home. Only a handful of Marines to defend. GuMiho, he is 100% committed with this push. There's no turning back. Not anymore. One way or another, either GuMiho can break herO or die trying. He catches the Prism. Good pickup. Prism does go down. We have to recall back home. No, never mind. We're just racing back home instead. Boys are being pulled. The Immortal barely does pop out. We're getting on top of the tanks. One tank goes down. The second tank as well. But we are losing every single probe in the natural. herO will clean this up. But this was a costly trade. herO loses 20 probes in the process. He may have killed 15. But herO is also hurting the economy. Things are getting scrappy. What I will say, though, is that GuMiho lost his army. herO didn't. That's the dangerous thing right now. herO, he has momentum. Pushing on forward. Getting on top of these forces here as well. Getting on top of the medevac so far. Some good blinks. Good target firing out of GuMiho. But he will lose everything. GG gets called. And herO will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played. Ay. GG, well played. We do have to... GG, well played. herO will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the grand finals. Again, even though herO may have lost a lot of workers, he knew that he could afford to lose that as long as he was able to shut down the army. He had also killed an equivalent amount of workers across the map, and GuMiho was all in. herO less so. With that, herO was able to take it in the end, was able to shut down GuMiho and take the series. Congratulations. With that, we are getting ready here for the upper semifinals, and it has lined up quite nicely. So we spoke about it before. We did miss out on GuMiho versus Nightmare just because we were waiting for Cyan and Showtime. It was a very long series, and it just finished. This just in. Showtime versus Cyan did just finish. We were waiting for it for quite some time earlier, and Showtime did come out on top, did come out victorious, 2-0 over Cyan. It was a very long PvP, but it did just conclude, and now we're settling into the upper semifinals just in time. It lined up beautifully here. We didn't miss out on Dark versus Showtime at all, as it's about to begin.